ended up jobless. On my own, I had no one to reach out to.
After I left care at 18, I ended up being homeless for a while.
I thought things was gonna get a little bit easier, better, but ultimately it got worse.
At one point, all three former foster children wondered how they'd eat, where they'd sleep, and who they could turn to. Erin and Dominique wound up homeless. She still is.
I don't think anybody has that vision in their future. Like, hey, I think I'm gonna be homeless.
Mia has a job and an apartment, and a story that can bring you to tears. 2 failed adoptions. At 16, she thought she'd found a family.
4 days before they were going to sign the official adoption papers, they decided they didn't want me anymore.
She spent the next 5 years in foster care. Mia aged out at 21.
Once I left, I got an email from my caseworker supervisor that said good luck, pretty much.
On their feet, Dominique staying at another shelter and just wants stability.
When you're only surviving, like, you're stressed on a day-to-day basis.
She spent 2 years in New York's foster care program. She moved to Georgia this year, hoping to opt back in. She can't.
What's scary?
Having to do it all by yourself.
It's just frightening, really, because you don't know what to do.
Aged out refers to what happens to foster children seemingly overnight. One day you're 17 and in foster care, the next you're 18 and frequently on your own.
I wasn't really sure what I was going to do at that point. I really didn't know where I was going to go.
Dana, Tevin, and Alexis all aged out of foster care. All went from some level of security to a high state of insecurity, scratching to survive, often breaking the law to do so.
Going hungry until you find a program that'll take you in, feed you.
So I just turned to criminal behaviors because I had nowhere else to go, and I knew if I was in jail, I have a meal, you know, I'll be able to sleep.
Every day, who are sleeping under a bridge in an abandoned building.
And whether in a facility or on the streets, ahead of them all, a greater likelihood of homelessness, unemployment, illness, and incarceration. Partially that's because when they age out, these 18-year-olds have little in the way of life skills.
Well, first, I didn't know how to cook. I didn't know how to ride the bus.
These former foster kids and those who cared for them say the failure to teach life skills before kids age out is the greatest failure of the public-private system offering foster care.
When you aging out and you all alone, like that's scary, like, cause you gotta think about what's going on in the streets. It's crazy in the streets, like real crazy. So like, you just gotta, like, you can't even prepare for homelessness for real. Like, after my court date, I never spoke to nobody from DHS. I never heard from my DHS worker. DHS was done after court. That was it. Somebody should have checked up on me like within 6 months or like 2 months after that, just to make sure everything was okay.
You can be like a regular person that's willing to give a resource, give a job, you know, anything counts, like a support system, just to be there for them to talk to at times, like, because when we age out, those social workers, those provider agencies, they leave us behind. Like, none of my DHS workers, social workers, advocates, nobody talks to me. They don't care about my life, for real. So like, to have somebody there who I can talk to, lean on, when nobody is there, like when I was like alone in the system, if somebody was there that I could just talk to, like even if you don't know what to do, like if I could just like get it off my chest.
As far as DHS goes, I would just like to say to them, we understand that it's not your fault that we're in a predicament. Try to step away from your job almost for a second and try to really realize that we have so much more to give to life than just being a foster kid.
If I was my social worker, like what I would have did for me, well, one, I would have listened.
My mom, she chose smoking or, doing drugs or men. That was a big thing over us. We moved down to Florida when I was 12. We were sleeping in a park and we had to go into the DCF custody. I thought that my mom was coming back for me. I thought that she loved me, It just got to a point where I realized that some people are just genuinely broken. No matter how much you love someone, you just can't give them what they need sometimes. And so as I was going through the foster system and thinking, okay, well, I'm gonna be alone and I'm gonna be out by myself, and I was like, this can't be real. I prayed and I prayed and I prayed and I said, God, nobody loves me.